You're rolling.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sheep Guys podcast. My name is Zach, your host, and my co-host here.
Monty today.
You're Monty today.
Well,
right
yeah,
on, Monty.
I mean, you know, the whole Ronald thing is good, though. I could go by Ronald.
Right,
I'll be
Ronald Monty. The real full name.
Ronald Fremont.
There we go. All right. Well, everybody, we are back again. We are doing step 8 and 9. We're going to combine month 8 and 9 of the year because these two steps actually go to each other. I don't necessarily suggest that you do them back to back like we're doing. Find yourself a trusted person and or a sponsor for, So 8 is made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Interestingly, we come from a background here of Celebrate Recovery, which uses the 12 steps and the 8 principles. And so we're not an anonymous program in the sense that, much like AA or NA, where they are shielding themselves from, the press, radio, and so forth. We are actually doing this on YouTube, and it goes to podcasts, so technically radio-ish sources. So what we're doing here in these steps is breaking down the progression of what it is to get us as healed before God as we possibly can be on this new life trajectory that we're encountering. And so when we do this list in AA, I will say that, even though we are not affiliated with any AA program, they will tell you when you make the list that you need to put down anything you have offended or have been offended by, which would be institutions, if you have a beef with the police, if you have committed a crime, if you have defrauded not just people, because in step 9 it says made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others.
Yeah, that was new for me. I heard you say that the other night. That was new for me, but it was good. You had some. That was smart.
So I think that we have offended institutions or committed errors of our ways to things that need restitution. So when we're doing the amends process, I think that there are times where the only way to make things right are to possibly get us in trouble. If that,
oh my God, you're going there, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
Oh my, if anybody in your audience wanted to know if you were on their side, it's about to happen.
I'm on your side,
you're on
right?
But you're on their side.
But you're
going there, aren't you?
Committed a crime. It's possible that you've committed a crime, and you may need to fess up in order to find restitution and healing.
Stop the lies, right? I mean, because that's the whole idea. I mean,
yeah.
Unless if you just kind of, you got to stop the lies sooner or later, no matter what they are.
Right. And so cleaning up your side of the street means if you've done something
brutal,
legally speaking, that is compromising or deserves a punishment, I don't suggest you just walk into a police station and be like, I stole something in 1986, right?
A bottle of perfume from my girlfriend.
Whatever the thing is. But what I do suggest...
That one will be between you and God.
Yeah, possibly. But what I do suggest is that you find a trusted sponsor to help walk you through that. What I have encountered with other people and personally is that there are times where, let's say you stole something from a store. You may want to go, even if it was a long time ago, and you realize that it really has affected you or it has continued to weigh heavy on you. And you realize that you need to somehow right that wrong, but you have no idea how to do that. It is possible that you could walk into that store and ask for a manager and say, look, a year ago, I came in here when I was using drugs. I, stole this particular item. I didn't get caught, but I recognize that it's been weighing on me and it was illegal. And if there's anything I can do to restore this wrong, I'd love to do that. And you will find that half the time, this is the hope for you, is that half the time they will say, don't worry about it. Thank you for confessing. We've already written it off. Or maybe it's somebody who is in recovery or has, you have no idea, has walked through the 12 steps, and they'll say, well, I'll tell you what we'd like to do. Maybe you need to go scrub the undergird of the dumpster out in the back or something. I don't know. I'm just saying the willingness to make a wrong right. And I'm going to tell a personal story about an institution that I still have a beef with, but I recognize that they have authority over me, so I'm going to submit to it because I have to. The IRS.
Oh boy, here you went.
I did. So there are times where we may not like institutions that force their governing ways on us, but I will tell you that we have to fall within the laws and the guidelines of what is required of us.
Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's.
Yeah,
right? Pretty much it right there.
Even though Caesar sucks, and you don't like Caesar, and you'd rather turn it all over to God. So my story is this: I got sober. I want to say it was 2007, and I knew that I had done some creative math in my tax filings, and at the time, I felt like I don't want to pay $200 for a roll of toilet paper, $600 for a hammer. Like I don't like what the IRS does with my tax dollars. So I justified it by saying, I'm painting a little outside the lines, or I'm getting colorful with the way that I'm operating. But I justified it, and ironically, it was something that was weighing on me. And I had taken some loans from my company, and instead of considering that as direct income, I took loans from my company so I wouldn't have to pay taxes on the loans. Well, long story short, IRS comes to audit, and this was God's way of saying this is the perfect opportunity for you to be truthful and forthcoming in every way possible. And so what happened for me was I didn't intentionally overshare information, but I answered every question honestly to the IRS. And it was approaching my liability, approaching six figures. It was big at the time. And I had just, fallen from great heights, I guess you could say. When I first got sober, I was at one point very wealthy in my life, at least, by the standards that I looked at. And I lost everything. I mean, literally everything. Just come pick this up, come pick that up, the repo man, you name it, I was losing it all. At the end of the day, the straw that broke the camel's back to really just put the nail in the coffin for me was the IRS coming and saying, and in addition, you owe us, just shy of six figures. And I was honest and realized the ramifications of that meant I had to pay them back, like a lot of money. And so, which was an insurmountable, dollar figure at the time. I had blown up my life. And so I was making $10 an hour, building custom cabinets, living in Sequim, Washington, or Port Angeles and Sequim area in Washington, out on the peninsula. And so, for me to have to pay that back meant, a lot of stress for me. But this is where I needed for God to show up, because he always had. This is where I knew that if my faith was real, that God was going to provide, that there was going to be a pathway for me to get this figured out.
Amen.
And at the end of the day, a few short years later, as it turns out, I paid the IRS back. But the willingness to apply, putting on my list of people that I had harmed, even though it wasn't a person specifically, It was dishonesty towards my financial areas, and specifically the IRS. And some people it could be a crime they committed or a wrong that they had done to a business, or even some embezzlement. But to get that right and to make restitution was vital, and it was that important for me to do that in order for me to find wholeness and healing and trust in God. And so my admonition, I guess, here to wrap up is don't be afraid. God has a plan to restore you, and he doesn't want us to live in fear about these things, but he wants to see us come through the other side, live a life of honesty, and make amends wherever possible. That's all I got today. Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. God bless you.